Okay, I'm in Autodesk Inventor. We're going to draw the desktop sign. First thing I do is I go to New, and it's going to give me this pop-up window here. I'm going to create a standard part, create, and there's a lot of ways to draw this. You draw it as a front rectangle or the side and extrude it out. But the way I think I'm going to do it is I'm going to draw the side view with that 12-degree bevel cut and then extrude it down to 12 inches. So I go up here, start a 2D sketch. I want to draw in the XY plane. And I'm going to draw a rectangle starting at the origin here and going over. It's 3/4 of an inch thick, so 0.75. Then I hit tab, and that's 2.75, 2 3/4. Enter, and then there's my rectangle. If I hit front view, it'll fit it to my screen. Then now I want to cut this off here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a line. I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to go over. I'm not too sure how long it is, so I'm going to make it a little too long. So 1.04 is good. Tab, and then this is 12 degrees. Enter, and I hit right click. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to trim this line down to that and trim this line back. So here's my trim command. I could trim that off. Right click, okay. I can't actually trim this line down because I've given it a dimension. So I can't keep it 2.75 and trim it down. So I have to go and actually delete that set dimension there. And now I'll be able to trim this line. Whoops, escape, undo. I'll go back to trim. I want to trim that part off. So that takes that piece of the line off. Okay. And then I'm going to go and delete that baseline. Okay. So I'm all done. My back block, I hit finish sketch. I'm going to extrude this board out 12 inches. Enter. I hit my little house here. That'll center it. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up to materials up here, and I'm going to set this as a wood. We'll call it a birch wood. This is my first part. Now I'm going to have to create a second part. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and then when I save it, in my student folder, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call that new folder Desktop Sign. And then I'm going to just call this part 1. In this case, I'm just going to save it on my desktop for the example. But you need to create a folder for all your parts. File management is really key here. So I'm going to hit Save. I'm saving it in the New Zealand folder. Okay. Now I'm going to create my second part. So I'm going to go File, New, Part. And my second part, I'm going to do the same thing in the XY plane. This is going to be the bottom piece. It's a rectangle starting at the origin. It's 1 1/4, 1 1/4, tab 3/4, enter, put to the screen. Now this one's cut back this way. So let me hit OK. I'm going to create a line from the origin up. Again, I'm going to make it too long. 1, tab. So it's actually going to be the complement of the 12. So that's 78 degrees. Enter. Right click, OK. I want to trim this line off. Right click, OK. Oh, I have a set measurement on it again. So I have to delete that dimension first and delete that dimension. Now I'll be able to trim that line back and that line back. And then this line I'm going to delete. Then my part's all done. Finish sketch. I'm going to take that part and extrude it out 12 inches. Set the wood material on it. So birch. Birch actually looks a lot like alder. Then I'm going to go File, Save As. My New Zealand folder, I'm going to call it Part 2. So now my 2 parts are created, just like building the actual thing. Now I'm going to assemble them. So I go File, New, and now I'm going to create an assembly. And I want to place, and I have to find the folder I put on my desktop. in New Zealand. I'll place part 1. I just click, right click, OK. And then now I'm going to place part 2, right click, OK. And now I have my 2 pieces here. And actually, I use a 3D mouse on this, so I could really grab my parts and move around. And I hold them together pretty similarly the way I did it when I built it. So that's called a constraint. And I'm going to constrain it. I get this pop-up menu here. I want to mate this back plane to that plane. That'll snap it on there. Then my next constraint is a flush on that end cap to that end. Apply, there's 2 degrees of freedom. And then finally I'm going to mate, no I'm not, I'm going to flush the bottoms together. Apply, I'm all done. Go to my little house, and that looks good. If I grab any part, I can't separate it. So that looks good. I'm going to File, Save As. This is my assembly in the folder. And then the last thing I'm going to do is create a working drawing. So again, I go File, New. I'm going to create a standard DWG, Create. This is C size paper. I'm actually going to put it on A size paper and as a landscape. So it's A size paper. Once I create A size paper, it's going to say sheet 2 of 2, but sheet 1 is a C. So let me delete that sheet. Okay, and that looks good, but actually I'm going to delete that out. And I'm going to replace it. So I'm going to place my assembly. And I can see it's not really going to fit on here. So let me try and scale it 1 to 2 and see how that fits. That looks good. I put that view in, right click, create. I think actually I'm going to make this my right hand view. So I'll drag that one over there, this one over here. I could put a top view in as well, but it's really not going to give me any more knowledge on the part. Center it up a little bit more. I like that. Then I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to hit base. And I just want a little isometric here. So I'm going to hit ISO top right, ISO top left. Yeah, ISO top left. That's going to crowd me a lot. This ISO is just to get an idea of what it looks like. So let's try 1 to 4 scale, like that. And I'm just going to click in the upper right hand corner, right click OK. And that gives me an idea what it looks like. Now I'm going to annotate my drawing. I'm going to place text. This is my desktop. Your name should be automatic up here. And I'm going to put desktop sign in. I need to have my scale. My scale is 1 to 2. I put my units in. I'm in inches. Actually, this desktop sign, I'm going to hit escape out of that control. And then now I could grab this and move it around. Desktop sign is the title of my project. So I have my name, the date, the project's name, scale, and inches. It needs to be sheet 101. So there's the text for my annotation. Now I'm going to dimension it. And every dimension I need to build it should be in this drawing. If I want to do the angle right here, I could zoom in, and I think, yeah, so 78 is good. I need a few more dimensions. Pick that one to that corner. I'll make sure it goes along the side. Yeah. So that looks good. I want to print that out and keep it, and I also want to save it. So that's how you draw it. First, you create your parts, save those, file management's key, put those parts in the assembly, assemble them, and then create a working drawing on a landscape paper.